Thank you, Dana, and welcome back, Bill. Fox News Alert now as we top a new hour. President Trump will be greeting El Salvadoran President Bukele at the White House any moment now. Illegal immigration at the top of the agenda for the meeting. At the same time, a new DOJ task force is reportedly focusing on immigration reform. The team is targeting illegal migrants with criminal backgrounds who are getting Social Security benefits. This is the Faulkner Focus. On this Monday morning, I'm Sandra Smith in for Harris. Here's Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem on that this morning.
If they're here illegally, then they certainly shouldn't be using that Social Security number to be on our programs, and they should be removed or given the opportunity to go home on their own. That's the one thing President Trump would like, is everybody to be given the opportunity to go home if they would wish to.
All right, so Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the U.S. sent 10 more illegal migrants to El Salvador. That is the latest group since the country last month accepted hundreds of alleged violent Venezuelan gang members in the U.S. illegally. Illegal border crossings since the president began his second term have plummeted, but he is not letting up. He authorized the military to take control of federal land along the U.S. southern border. You can see the effect of Trump's crackdown in these photos of the Darien Gap. Before Trump took office, the treacherous passage between Colombia and Panama saw thousands of migrants a day trying to make their way into the U.S. Recent photos show that same path is now nearly empty. Senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy has more on Trump's meeting. Hello, Peter.
Sandra, good morning. And the honor guard is all lined up here at the White House. You can see it over my shoulder, awaiting for the El Salvador president's arrival. The president and his team have spent the whole weekend talking up this new U.S.-El Salvador relationship, especially the part that allows federal officials here to send dangerous accused criminals there and populate El Salvador's prisons.
He's doing a fantastic job, and he's taking care of a lot of problems that we have that we really wouldn't be able to take care of from a cost standpoint. And he's been amazing. We have some very bad people in that prison, people that should have never been allowed into our country.
Of course, one person has been determined by courts to be wrongfully deported. His name is Kilmar Abrego Garcia. The Supreme Court has weighed in to say the White House has to facilitate his return, but folks here do not want to do much at all to help, and this is why.
A district court judge said unconscionably that the president and his administration have to go into El Salvador and extradite one of their citizens, an El Salvadorian citizen, so that would be kidnapping, that we have to kidnap an El Salvadorian citizen against the will of his government and fly him back to America, which would be an unimaginable act and an invasion of El Salvador's sovereignty.
President Bukele calls himself the world's coolest dictator, and we will see him with President Trump in the Oval Office any minute. Sandra?
We'll be watching for that. Thank you so much, Peter, and glad to have the free of birds this morning. All right. Republican Attorney General of Texas, Ken Paxton, he is also running in Texas Senate Republican primary. And he joins us now. Welcome to you, sir. So please do give us a heads up on what you see happening here, and how would you characterize the progress on the border so far?
Look, it's amazing. Almost from day one, the progress was significant, and all it involved was enforcing federal law that existed already. So I have to commend President Trump for actually following the law, enforcing the law, and you can see the numbers are dramatically down from what they were just a few short months ago.
They sure are. We see that happening. We've seen that happening since day one. Now many blue states and cities are fighting the president's crackdown, as you well know, on illegal migration. That includes his deportation of illegals, starting with those who have violent criminal histories. The numbers show that illegal immigration and border security were top reasons people voted for President Trump. Polls since his second term started showing he gets his highest marks for his approach to this issue. So, Ken, it appears he is answering the needs of voters.
It's absolutely true. I mean, people are worried about their safety, and when illegal immigration allows millions of people in, including criminals, and these people are transported all over the country, crime is going to go up in the United States, and it has, especially in some of our largest cities. So this is directly correlating to ending crime in the United States. Is just stop illegal immigration and stop criminals from coming into our country. So again, thank you, President Trump, for actually following the law and enforcing the law.
So, Mr. Attorney General, as we do see this live look at the White House here, and we are about to see President Trump meet and greet the El Salvadoran president, Bukele, just moments from now, as we know that the president's goal is to continue to send back, when necessary and appropriate, these illegal criminal migrants. What do you anticipate will come from this meeting? What is this about?
Look, I'm optimistic. He's using his presidency to again enforce law. He's working with foreign countries to make sure that our laws are enforced, and clearly that didn't happen in the last administration. As a matter of fact, we had lawsuits. My state had lawsuits against the Biden administration to try to stop them from allowing criminals into this country. And again, I'm grateful that this is being done, because in the end, we're talking about less crime and we're talking about saving lives.
Okay, so now President Trump is making good on his promise to hold Maine accountable for ignoring his executive order to protect girls' sports. I know this is something you've been watching closely as well, Mr. Attorney General. The Department of Education referred its investigation on this issue to the Justice Department. The agency also said it was looking to pull federal funding from Maine if it would not comply with Title IX and President Trump's order banning biological males from competing in women's sports. Harris sat down with the Education Secretary, Linda McMahon, on this last week.
We've given them every opportunity. The president's crystal clear. No one should doubt his commitment to make sure that women play in women's sports and that they do not have to compete against men. We need to make sure that we're complying with Title IX, and this president is committed to that 100%.
The Trump administration is also taking action on this incident at a USA fencing match. The organization disqualified a female fencer after she took a knee and refused to fight a biological male. Secretary McMahon broke this news on the Faulkner Focus.
This competitor had competed in men's fencing about 2 years prior, to this, and it's just not fair. So what I'm announcing today is that we have a special Title IX investigations team that is going to be investigating anyone who was associated with, with this, to make sure that this doesn't continue to happen. We're upholding Title IX. We just couldn't be any clearer about this. And so for those who violate these provisions, we will investigate and take action.
Before all this, you also launched your own investigation, Ken, into USA Fencing. Last week, you ordered the group to hand over information to determine if it broke Texas state law. What did you find?
Yeah, well, so we're just starting that investigation, but it is, honestly, it's ludicrous that this is even an issue that we're having to deal with. We have laws in Texas that allow or stop this from happening in our schools, and certainly we don't want this happening in any organization in our state, because it's just unfair, as Linda McMahon just said, for men to compete in women's sports.
So much to get to, Mr. Attorney General. You also announced last week an agreement with Dallas schools that says that their employees will not allow boys to play in girls' sports or attempt to circumvent the law. A recent poll from Fox has 68% in favor of keeping boys and men out of girls' and women's sports. So why do you still see organizations and schools resisting this?
Such a great question. I don't know, but they clearly are. They've videotaped these school employees in different school districts. This is not the only school district we're investigating, and these school employers are basically saying we can get around state law. That's a real problem. It's a real problem that they're trying to get around state law and federal law, and we're going to do our best to stop that. Unfortunately, some of these employees are being fired and being held accountable, but we need to continue to do that for sure.
What is in it for them to stand up for keeping biological males in women's sports?
Look, it's really hard for me. This is an agenda I don't understand. I don't know why any parent, why any grandparent would want their daughter or their granddaughter to have to compete against men. It's completely unfair, and there are clearly laws, federal laws that say it's wrong, and clearly most people, as your polls suggest, don't think this is a very good idea.
Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton joining us live. Ken, thank you so much. Good to have you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.